This is Making Stitches, back for a new series, and this time we're hearing from food stylist and photographer Jen Rich, who's just written a book about her newest hobby, sewing.
My publisher thought often if a book's written by someone that's been sewing for 20, 30 years, it's quite intimidating. You sort of think, well, it's going to take me years and years to pick this up. Whereas actually, I've done it in 3 years and I can do it. It's sort of, however long I've been doing it, I can produce these things. And I just wanted to encourage other people to give it a go, really, and to not feel intimidated. They need to dedicate the next 30 years to learning it, that you can pick up the basics quite quickly and just practice.
Hello, I'm Lindsay, a lifelong crafter, a crochet designer and journalist, and I'm so happy to be able to share the first in a brand new series of Making Stitches podcast with you. It's been a while, I know, since my last regular series, but Making Stitches is back. And I'm going to kick off this series with a bit of good news. 2 weeks ago, I learned that Making Stitches podcast has made it into the shortlist of the first ever Independent Podcast Awards here in the UK. It's been so exciting and such an honour to have my podcast considered to be worthy to be a finalist. There are 9 other amazing podcasts in the shortlist in the arts and culture category, and I'm truly flattered to be considered alongside them. Thank you so much to the judges for putting Making Stitches forward. Now, back to business. Like many people during lockdown, food stylist and photographer Jen Rich was looking for a new hobby to distract her and occupy her time. She'd always been a creative person and decided to give sewing, and in particular dressmaking, a go. Just 3 years on from buying her new sewing machine and teaching herself, Jen has just published her first sewing book, filled with beautiful patterns suitable for complete beginners and established sewers alike. Here's our chat now.
My day job is a photographer and food stylist, so not sewing related. But skipping ahead a bit, basically I did the book to make it so it was my job. So I thought that would be a nice way of doing basically my hobby but for work. But backstory, I guess I was always a very crafty, creative child, liked any kind of sticking, gluing, colouring in. I think I've probably tried my hand at most craft now. I've got the sort of how hard can it be attitude where, I see something like, yeah, I'll give it a go. And I guess it was, 3 years ago now. So like a lot of people, lockdown hit and I'd been thinking about getting a sewing machine for a while. And I thought, I've got some time now, and bought my machine. And I haven't stopped since then, really. I fell in love with it. And I just started on the kitchen table. Now I've got a whole room in the house dedicated to it because it's all sort of taken over. So yeah, I guess it was a long time in the making. I did a bit of sewing at school and a bit of cross stitch and things like that, but I never properly learned to sew on a sewing machine until about 3 years ago.
Wow. So from buying a sewing machine 3 years ago to publishing a book with beautiful sewing patterns in, that's quite a meteoric rise, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I've had a massive imposter syndrome about that because I was like, I've only been sewing 3 years. What right have I got to tell anyone how to sew? But actually, speaking to my publisher, they thought it was a positive because obviously I'm aiming it at beginners, and I think everyone has the ability to learn how to do it. I think often people are quite intimidated, thinking it's going to be very difficult, especially sewing clothes. But I really honestly believe if people want to and they give it a good go, you really can learn. And so by actually not being, so my publisher thought often if a book's written by someone that's been sewing for 20, 30 years, it's quite intimidating. You sort of think, well, it's going to take me years and years to pick this up. Whereas actually, I've done it in 3 years. And I can do it. Like it's sort of, however long I've been doing it, I can produce these things, and I just wanted to encourage other people to give it a go, really, and to not feel intimidated they need to dedicate the next 30 years to learning it, that you can pick up the basics quite quickly and just practice. And yeah, it's quite a good hobby because you never complete it. You can always learn a new thing or do a new kind of project. So I think definitely imposter syndrome in there for sure, but hopefully people can see it as the positive thing, that it's not really unachievable.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, it's as you said, if somebody's got decades of experience under their belt, I imagine you're always having your mind, it's very fresh, the latest skill you've just learnt, and you'd probably be able to, break that down quite easily. But unless you are a teacher who specialises in breaking everything down, the very basic steps at the beginning of a new hobby, I can imagine it might be quite difficult to take a step back, whereas you're very fresh with that. It's very new to you, and you can guide people along on your own journey at the same time, really.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually. I think, I kind of wrote it as the book I would have wanted when I first bought my machine, kind of thing, because it is aimed at beginners, and the introduction includes, all sorts of stitches, finishing techniques, how to make bias binding, all that sort of thing. But also I hope it does appeal to more experienced sewers who just want some ideas. I kind of call them easy win, like palette cleanser projects, sort of when you've been working on something big and or particularly if something's gone wrong, or like, you've made a dress and you put it on and it just doesn't suit you and you just think, oh, what a waste of time. So to have just a little project that you can do in a couple of hours that will just give you your confidence and your sojo back again. And also a lot of them use quite small bits of fabric, so you can use them to use up scraps and things. So I hope that it appeals to a range of sewers rather than just beginners, but it is very much suited to someone that's literally just bought a machine and is ready to go.
Absolutely.
So yeah, you're quite right. I approached it in exactly knowing the certain steps I needed to learn in order to get to a point where, you could read a pattern fairly well. I mean, obviously the book isn't aimed at clothes, but just to know what a certain stitch is and what a finishing, thing is. So hopefully there's enough information in the first chapters to just give people the confidence to, I guess, like walk into a shop and see something, I could make that, and and just use something as inspiration, but make it exactly to your taste and the fabrics you like and things like that. So it's not just aimed at making the projects in the book, it's more just giving people the skills to go off and make whatever they want, really.
Absolutely. And it genuinely looks stunning. You can tell your background in food photography and styling because the photos that are inside it are really, really beautiful. It must have been nice to be able to marry two of your passions together.
Definitely, yeah. It was I would say it was easier than food, purely because often I do the food styling as well, so I have to make all the food and then I shoot it. So it was in some ways a bit quicker doing the sewing stuff, but obviously I did have to make them first. And there's a lot of step-by-step photos in the book, which I was quite keen to do because I'm very much a visual learner. I need to see someone do it or see a picture of it. So the step-by-steps did take a little while because I'd sort of have to take a picture and then go off and just sew a little bit of a seam and then come back and take another picture. But it was really nice to do. And my publishers were brilliant with me that they just let me go off and do it, really. They didn't sort of say we want certain things at all. I just said what I had in mind and they're like, yep, sure, go and do it. So went away for 2 months or so and wrote it, made everything and shot it. And luckily they were really happy.
Well, I imagine you made their job very easy for them because normally they'd have to send all your things off to a photographer to have the pictures taken anyway.
Well, yeah, it was sort of an all-in deal with me, I guess. But it was really nice to be able to, I guess it's maybe a bit of a control freak thing, but to I had such a strong vision of how I wanted it to look in my mind. So it was nice that I could just shoot it, exactly how I envisioned it. And it really, really is. I first arrived, when I got the first copy, I had a little happy cry because I'd been just having nightmares about it. Dreaming that the books had arrived and they were completely different pictures, or the writing was just absolute gobbledygook and things like that. So I was having a real panic about it. So once it came and it looked how I wanted, it was really nice to see. And also I think because I did it all myself sort of at home, it didn't really feel like a real thing, if that makes sense. It was like, because we couldn't tell anyone about it. So I just did it all in my spare room and then send it to the publisher, and then 6 months later it's a book. So actually seeing it in real life, it's like, it's a real thing. It's not just my little pretend project. So it was quite overwhelming actually seeing it for the first time.
I can well imagine, because it must have been so much work that went into it.
Yeah, it was a bit of a whirlwind actually, because I think they only gave me, it was just under 3 months I think to do the whole thing, and we also bought a house in that time. So the sort of week of my final deadline for the manuscript was the week we moved house. So it was also that summer we had an absolute heat wave. So I was just sort of in my spare room with a fan directly next to me, just trying to get through all this sewing, and my husband literally packing up the room around me. And so I just had my sewing machine on my desk and just piles of fabric everywhere. So yeah, it was a bit of a manic time, but it was good. It was good summer. Good to look back on, really.
Wow.
Now with some distance.
Yes, the safety of a distance.
Yeah.
Nobody would ever know looking at the photos.
Rose-tinted glasses, probably.
Yes.
It was the summer I came out in hives for the first time, so maybe the stress was more than I thought it was. But yeah, rose-tinted glasses, I think.
And have you had a good reaction to it since it's been published?
Yes, it's been really lovely, actually. I guess people echoing what you've said, and just they really like the design of it, and that it's really clear, and that they want to make the project. I think that was my sort of original pitch to the publisher, that obviously there's 1,000,001 sewing books out there. It's not, it's nothing new essentially, but I just wanted to appeal to, I guess, people like me that, a lot of the books, they were quite sort of old fashion, like more sort of patchwork sort of side of things, or peg bags, and not necessarily, I mean, I have just recently made a peg bag because mine broke. But it was sort of, I wanted to create more sort of modern projects that were really customizable for whatever your personal style is or your home. So yeah, I knew I wasn't reinventing the wheel, but it was more of an aesthetic thing to appeal to hopefully a sort of younger audience and get people into sewing and into these kind of crafts, because, well, I think they have had a massive resurgence lately, and I think things like the Sewing Bee really help, but obviously they're not as popular as they were decades ago. So, and I just love it so much, so I just want to get everyone else to do it, basically. I just want to demystify it, I guess, and make people more keen to try. But yeah, everyone's been very nice about it so far. To my face, I don't know what people are saying in the back alleys of the internet, but thus far it's been a very good reception. I promised myself I won't read Amazon reviews, because I think that's a black hole.
You might be right there, yes, but I'm sure it's had a very positive reaction, because it's truly beautiful.
Just people are quite mean on the internet sometimes.
Yeah, I think people forget that people can read it,
Yeah. And I think the problem is it's so personal, this project. And a lot of my work it's for other people, and once I've shot it, I send it away and they do what they want with it. Whereas this is, like I say, it's the book I would have wanted to buy. It's my absolute passion. I did it all. So for anyone to criticise it, it cuts quite deep. But also I appreciate not everyone's going to like it. It's everyone's entitled to their opinion. I think I just need to not read them.
Yeah, I think
be
you're very
blissfully
wise.
unaware.
Well, I can't imagine there'll be many, to be honest, because it really is beautiful. But it's something that I find when I speak to designers is that one of the joys they get from putting their patterns out there is when they start to see people making them and sharing their makes online. Have you reached that point yet with your designs?
A little bit. I had sort of one of the people the publisher sent the book to, she emailed me going, look what I made, and she'd done the coasters. And I've had a few people message me privately, but I'm sort of waiting for the time something crops up on Instagram maybe. But also I'm not sure if that will happen because there's no direct links in the book to my Instagram. So unless someone really looks for me, I'm not sure they would know to do it. But maybe one day it will crop up, which would be very nice. But I can really imagine that if someone had put a pattern out there, Tilly and the Buttons, whatever, to see people actually making it is pretty cool.
Yeah, to see your ideas in the wide world.
Yeah, absolutely, and just see how other people interpret it, and what designs they do and things. I think that would be really nice to see. But yeah, fingers crossed. Hasn't been out too long, so hopefully over time.
Yes.
You're listening to Making Stitches, a podcast celebrating creative crafts and inspiring makers. This podcast is supported by the Making Stitches shop on Etsy, where you can find Making Stitches podcast tote bags, badges and stitch markers, along with a few of my crochet patterns for sale too. Just search for Making Stitches shop on Etsy. Now back to more creative chat.
Looking at your Instagram account, not so much the food side of things, but certainly the sewing side of things, you put out the most beautiful videos of your step-by-step process from, the fabric and the buttons to cutting it out and then finally be wearing the finished garment. And I think that must help people an awful lot who are trying to envisage, if they could have a go at dressmaking or sewing of any kind. And you can see your skill as a photographer in how you framed the shots and everything. It's just brilliant and very inspiring.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad. Yeah, I think, like you say, just showing the process and that it's not rocket science. I think that's why I love patterns so much. I'm quite into just following things step by step, and also if it goes wrong, just unpick it. It's not the end of the world. My unpicker is probably my most used tool apart from my sewing machine. It's just, and you learn as you go along. It's not, looking back at the first sort of things I made at the time, I thought they were amazing. And looking back, they're not so amazing, but still, like the sense of achievement that you've turned this flat bit of fabric into a top or a dress that you can wear. It's just such a good feeling. And I think, it's just, follow the steps and you'll get there. You're not going to get it perfect first time, and it might take you a few goes to do it, but you'll get there. And most of the time it'll be wearable. Because actually a lot of the time, there's so many times I, have done things and the facing's a bit dodgy or hem's a bit wonky. No one else ever notices. It's only you that knows those things. So, it's really rewarding to actually have something physical at the end of it that you can go out and wear.
Absolutely. What would you say is your most sort of advanced make that you've made to date, considering that you only started 3 years ago?
Well, jeans were the thing that made me want to sew, because they're the one thing I can't find on the high street to fit. My hip to waist ratio is not what the high street expect it to be, so I could never get jeans to fit properly. So that was my goal, basically, when I learned I want to be able to make some jeans, which I have done, and then my most worn pair, because they fit perfectly and they're great. And that they were probably the third or fourth sort of try of actually getting the fit perfect. I'm also finding the right pattern. The first ones I did were the Dawn jeans by Megan Nielsen, and they're just too high-waisted for me. They just didn't suit me. So I did her ash jeans instead, which are the stretch ones, and they're a bit lower, and they're kind of my perfect jeans. So, and now I've done them, and I've actually transferred the adjustments onto the pattern, because I'm terrible at doing that. I'll just sort of adjust it as I'm sewing it and think I'll remember. You never do. You never ever do. So I have actually adjusted the pattern for that. So now I know I can just remake them. But lately I've just done the Blanca flight suit by Cosmic Core Patterns. I've done 2 now, actually. I got a bit obsessed with it in denim, and that was quite a job to fit as well, because obviously it's one piece and you've got to fit the top and the bottom together. And there's a lot of top stitching on it, and I'm not the biggest fan of top stitching.
It's rather unforgiving, isn't it?
It was lots of steps, and it could have been quite intimidating, but if you just take it, step at a time, we'll get there. And the second one I made was non-stretch denim, and I can't really put my shoes on very well. The stretch one definitely has more mobility to it. But the non-stretch looks good when you're just standing. Who needs to, put shoes on? Slip-ons all the way.
Oh, that's fantastic. I have to say, looking at that on your Instagram, the detail in it is incredible, right down to the fact, correct me if I'm wrong, it looked like there was a contrast lining on the tabs for the belt. Is that right?
Trying to think now. There definitely is in the pockets. Oh, yes. So the pockets create the belt loops. Yes, you're right. So, yeah, the pocket lining is a contrast, and then very on the design of it, the very top of the pocket create the belt loops. So, yes, you're absolutely right. I'm good you saw that as a good thing, because I was a bit annoyed that you could see the contrast lining from the outside.
Well, kind of what's the point if
we'll
you can't see
it?
No, it's quite nice to have something a bit different about. Yeah, I thought it looked fabulous, and
it's those little details I like about making your own clothes, that you can put just little bits in of your own touch. Like I just made a white plain white shirt, but instead of the button plackets, I just bound them with bias binding, but I did sort of a red ginghamy kind of fabric as the binding, so it's just got that little bit of colour on it, and it just makes it a bit different. And it's nice that you can just put these little bits. I mean, no one's going to see your pocket lining, but you will when you put them on.
Yeah,
and it's nice.
Absolutely. Yeah, I did a jacket once myself and had bright it was a grey jacket, very boring on the outside, but had the most bright pink lining.
Oh, amazing.
People would be quite shocked when I took it off.
Yeah.
But
I love a jazzy lining, because I'm not very brave, especially with coats. I always just have a black coat, but I'm not very good at. I love the idea of wearing loads of colour and pattern, and I love it on other people. And I'll start with this, plan to, and then I'll end up with navy, something like that. So it is nice to ease into it and having jazzy linings, things like that. But summer I'm definitely better at wearing more colour and things, but winter I tend to revert to black again. So I need to start making some more colourful things for winter.
Looking to the future, what's your next project, or what have you got on your machine at the moment?
I'm actually just making some napkins at the moment, which is for a collaboration with Fabric Godmother, actually. So I'm just using some of their fabrics to sort of make some table dressings and things. Napkins are a very easy win. They're just a rectangle or a square, so that's a nice little project. My next one is actually very basic, but it's an apron for my dad. He wants one to wear in his workshop, because he keeps ruining his clothes and Mum tells him off. So he wants a denim apron to wear out there. And I think I'm going to have quite a bit of denim left over, so I might do a shirt with it.
Oh,
I think
fabulous.
that's my plan. But we've got nice weather again now, so I feel like I should be outside instead of sewing. Because I'm always torn, because in England you just never know when the next sunny day is going to be. You feel like you have to,
got to seize the moment.
The most of it. Yeah, exactly. Very much so.
Oh. So tell me a little bit about your background then. You touched on the fact that you'd been quite a creative child, but what led you then into a career in photography?
Oh, so I was always the person at the party with a camera, and probably annoyed a lot of my friends with it, but I always just loved taking photos. And then I did school. I went to college and did business studies because I just didn't know what I wanted to do, and I thought that would be a general thing. And I left there. I ended up running pubs with my then boyfriend. It was all a very, you end up doing this and that, and it's not ever really a plan. And I sort of sat at the bar one day and I thought, I don't want to be Peggy Mitchell and be in this pub forever. I need to go and do something else. So I signed up for college, and I don't really know how I decided on it. I just thought, let's go and do a photography course. And I did that and really enjoyed it. And so then I went to University of Gloucestershire in Cheltenham and did editorial and advertising photography, which at the time was very fashion based. And that wasn't my vibe at all. And to be honest, in second year, I was kind of ready to leave. Like, I just wasn't taken to it. Had a little crisis talk with my tutor, and she just said, well, what do you like? I like cooking and eating. And she said, well, why don't you try food? And it was I just needed someone to tell me the blindingly obvious, really. And so I started shooting food, and then that was it. Just then graduated, went and started assisting other photographers, and then just slowly went out on my own. But ever since COVID, I basically work at home now on my own, because I can do the styling as well. I do the odd project like cookbooks and things in London. That's always nice when you've got a bit of a team. I think I forget that it's actually nice to work with other people as well. But yeah, I really enjoy doing the food styling, the prop styling things. So it's nice to be able to mix it all together, actually.
Yeah.
And not commute every day, because commuting does suck.
Yes, it does indeed, having done it myself. It seems like creativity, whether it's through photography or cooking or sewing, is something that's very important to you.
Very much so. I've never been, my brother is the academic and I'm the creative for sure. I just love doing things with my hands, just making anything, whether it's, making raised planters in the garden or upcycling furniture or sewing or, clay. I did a pottery course last year, which I absolutely loved. So it was always a project going on of some kind. I just find it's really good for my mental health, because you just switch off and all you're thinking about is what you're making, or, you have to concentrate enough. You can't really be worrying about other stuff. And it's just, if I'm ever feeling, I'm naturally quite a worrier. I'm not chill. So I would love to be chill, but I'm just not. And so I do find it really good to just, if I am feeling like I'm, needlessly worrying about something or anything like that, it's good to just switch off, and you're not on your phone, away from any screens and things. You can just, sink yourself into it. I think like colouring in got, back in vogue, didn't it, for mindfulness and things. And I think it is good, anything like that, where you just get away from technology. And although saying that, I colour in on my iPad now, which is just just going, no, use paper. But it's definitely, it's so good for my mental health. And I think that's another reason why I wanted to do the book and encourage people, because I think it is a really good outlet. And even if you don't think you're very good at it, you're still taking that time, you're switching off and focusing on something. And like I said before, the sense of achievement you have once you finished it, and even if you just made a tote bag or something, you've done that, and you take it shopping, and you've done something really productive, and hopefully you've got a bag you really like. And so I think there's lots of positives to crafting and any kind of thing like that, really.
Without a doubt, that's something I hear so much from so many people, and I feel the same way myself, to be honest. It's just being able to just focus intently on one thing just pushes all the other things to the side, doesn't it? And any worries or concerns you've got bubbling away in the background just kind of drift away for a little while, which is brilliant.
Absolutely, because I think even now, a lot of the time, even if we sit down to watch something on TV, I'll still be tempted to look at my phone or do something else. Like, rarely will I sit and just watch the TV. So I think, we're really used to just doing so many multiple things at the same time. It's nice to just sit and, I mean, normally I've always got my phone next to me. But when I'm sewing, I can literally not have it with me for like 5 hours and I haven't even realised. And actually, because it's pointless when you're just checking it all the time and scrolling through nonsense. So actually, I'm a lot more productive when I've not got a screen in front of me. And also like being on my laptop a lot for work. So it's just nice to just get away from all that and just be at the sewing machine. It's nice.
Fabulous. So what's next for you then? What's your next goal on your horizon, creativity wise? I
quite like to do another pottery course actually. That's bubbling away in the background. The last one I did, it was mainly hand building techniques, and then the last session we had a go on the wheel. So we only sort of had an hour, and you're rubbish for the first hour. Like, just as I started to get the hang of it, it was the end of the class. So I'd really like to go back and do one just throwing on the wheel. I'm not sure I'll produce anything that's usable, but it's really, and that again, that's another really tactile thing that's just, I really, really enjoyed that. And then possibly book 2. But we'll see.
How exciting! Or maybe a book on maybe a book on pottery.
Well, I did say that to my husband. I was like, "Could we have room for a kiln? Can I take this up properly?" He's like, I've already given you a sewing room. I don't know if I can give you a whole kiln room as well. But I do. I've got too much craft kit for one person, I think, really. When we packed up the last house, I thought, this is a lot.
I don't think you're on your own there, to be honest.
And I didn't think I was too bad at buying fabric that I didn't use, but it turns out I've got a bit of problem. And I've tried to be so strict this year and like, no, only buy some if you know exactly what you're going to make with it, or originally it was you're only allowed to buy any fabric once you've used everything you've got, but I've accepted that that's never going to happen. So I'm supposed to now just buy it when I have a project in mind, which I have mostly done. But it's so tempting, if you follow fabric brands on Instagram and things, and they've got a new drop, and then they're going to be really popular, you don't want to miss out, and then next thing you know, you've got 4 meters of fabric drying on the washing line, and it's just another vicious circle. But I do love the Instagram sewing community. It's a very lovely place. There's no one being mean about anything. Just everyone's so supportive and just sharing their knowledge. And that's been really encouraging and a source of a lot of information, especially when making clothes patterns, sort of being able to search a hashtag and seeing sort of, most people have had to add some length to the arms, or, make certain adjustments, which across the board most people are doing. So that's a real good sort of starting point to adjusting your pattern as well. It's really, and also inspiration for what other fabrics people are using. And I mean, I've done a lot of impulse buying of fabric based on seeing someone else making a certain pattern. Buying fabric's a whole hobby in itself anyway.
Yes. Yeah, I know that.
An expensive one as well. Everyone's like, must be cheaper making your own clothes. I'm like,
no,
not so much. But you can make things that you really love and you're going to wear more. So I think it does cost per wear. Generally, it works out all right. The whole fast fashion thing is a whole other topic. So I'm trying to think more carefully about what I make, because when I first started, I would see, a lovely dress pattern, and everyone looked amazing in it on Instagram, and I rushed out and bought it and made it, and realised that I've got nowhere to wear it to. And I'd sort of make all these sort of fancy clothes basically, and dresses and things, and apart from about 2 weeks in the English summer where you can wear a dress outside, I generally don't wear them. And when I'm at work, I'm covered in food all the time and things, so I just don't wear that kind of thing. So that's definitely something as I learn as I go along. But now generally I will look at sort of things in shops, basically what appeals to me, and then think, okay, how can I make that in the way that I'm going to wear it all the time. Particularly Suzanne, I take a lot of inspiration from them because I can't afford to spend £200 on a jacket, so I'll just make a dupe of it or try at least. But generally, like most high street clothes, you can find a pattern that's a pretty good match. So if you're willing, just definitely give it a go.
Absolutely. Oh, well, thank you so much, Jen. It's been really lovely to speak to you and hear about your journey of learning to sew and then sharing that love with everybody else.
Yeah, thank you. It's been great to talk to you too.
What a fabulous journey from complete novice to publishing a book in just 3 years. Well done, Jen, on your achievement. If you'd like to find out more about Jen, her book and her work, you can find her links in the show notes for this episode. My thanks again to Jen for speaking to me for Making Stitches. That's all from me for now. I'll be back again in 2 weeks' time with some more inspiring makers' stories. Until then, thank you for listening. It's been great to have your company. Stay safe and enjoy your crafting.